of Council for Unity. There are very few people I've known for 50 years. Bob is one of them. I met Bob in the early 70s. There was a riot in my neighborhood. It was horrendous. I was a student at Cethlo Junior High School. A federal judge ordered busing. African-American students were met with bottles and vicious dogs. I'd like to introduce you to the man that saved a lot of lives. He saved my life. He set me straight, and he's been my friend and mentor, like I said, for 50 years. My former English teacher and now CEO of Council for Unity. Bob, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Would you tell our audience a little bit about Council for Unity?
The Council for Unity was born out of racial violence in '85. It reflects the statement that Dave made, because it was a time when they were trying to integrate schools throughout New York City. The problem was that there was no preparation for new populations coming into schools to be accepted. And of course, that was met with violence. In order to address this issue, I brought together all the gang leaders who were responsible for the conflict. It took me a year, but a miracle happened. And in the span of a year, these former enemies and racists actually became a band of brothers. And the conclusion to that was, if this could work for us, it could work for other kids like us. So out of that, we created a program called Council for Unity. From that very tentative beginning, the council has evolved into a movement that has its motto vetted in elementary, middle, and senior high schools, all throughout New York City, through Nassau and Suffolk County. We've had models in 4 correctional facilities and the Riverhead Police Department. It's been an absolutely fascinating journey. And I've said this more than once, there are more miracles in Council for Unity than in the Bible. And anybody who visits our website will be witness to that.
Let me cut to the chase. You have dealt with some of the most violent people in America. Tell me about your experiences with Suffolk County Correctional Facility, and let's talk about the results.
The sheriff at the time was Vincent DeMarco. Today, he is a U.S. Marshal. And when I met with him, he expressed serious doubt about whether this model could work. He had real doubts, not only about whether the program would work, but he was also concerned about my safety. He said, look, are you sure you want to do this? If your program works, I'm going to send every gang leader in this facility that's in conflict to meet with you in the chapel. There will be one correctional officer at the desk who was not armed. When they walk in that room and see their enemies, it could be a very dangerous situation. You want to do this? I was probably a little crazy at the time, and I said, yeah, I'll try. And the officer at the desk, and its on statement was, I was afraid there was going to be a full-scale riot. Within an hour of speaking with these men, a miracle happened. They all joined Council for Unity, and the rest was history. Our videos of these incarcerated gang members who have taken the Council for Unity journey have ended up transforming their lives to the point where they've inspired other venues to join the program. It's been a profound moment, to say the least. It really gives you a sense of faith, because if there's any one conclusion to this, it's that anybody can change.
What we really want in prisons is to make people good neighbors. Does that make sense?
If corrections were a business, it would be in a lot of trouble. There was a point where the recidivism rate in the country was around 83%. So if you were in a business and 80% of your business was a failure, you'd go out of business. But that doesn't happen in corrections. So the consequences, obviously, have been severe. One of the most telling of statistics in American society is that 1 in 100 Americans is in prison. Look it up. No other country in the world has that incarceration record. When you look at what the social conditions are that lead to those incarcerations, it really confronts us with the need to do much better on the social level, create hope in communities that don't have hope, so that these young men and women don't end up in jail.
Everyone, I'm going to be streaming a video of the miracle at the Suffolk County Correctional Institute, where there was about to be a riot.
Where there was a lot of gang violence.
Where there was a lot of gang violence. There was a correctional officer in the video who said a riot was imminent. And
Yes.
you came in and saved the day. Now I'm going to ask you another question. Do you get resistance from the average correction officer? Do they really welcome you with open arms?
Not initially, no. I think, and you probably couldn't blame them, because they were very skeptical. In their experience, dozens of programs come into facilities with the highest of goals, and they don't see any results. So when we came in, they really were skeptical. But over time, when all the publicity about the council's success in Suffolk County Correctional came out, there was a whole new perception about the program. I think the other thing that led to a more general acceptance was the behavior of the inmates. They stopped being violent. They started signing up for programs like getting their GED. The impact of council actually led to other programs benefiting because the inmates at this point, when they didn't have to deal with violence every day, were now thinking about taking programs that would help them when they re-enter society.
Bob, this sounds great. Why isn't this being done everywhere?
I think Council for Unity lacks several things. Program is impeccable. It's transformational. We don't have the infrastructure to market this program, and we don't have a fund developer to create the funds. My goal would be that we'd have enough money to give the program away for free, but we're not in a position to do that, so we have to bill for services. But I think some philanthropist who wants to change America falls in love with Council for Unity, and that is what's going to happen because we're a school-based model, we're a community model, and we're a correctional facility model. So you have school, community, law enforcement, and corrections. Those four things make criminal activity extremely difficult in a community. I'm going to share this with organized crime's approach to where it was incredibly successful for a lot of years. The first thing they did was they would recruit individuals who had very little prospects, were capable of violence, and they put them to work. So recruitment became a big thing. The second thing is that you intimidate a community so that they keep their mouths shut so that they can do their business without recourse. The third thing is to demonize the cops. Their marketing strategy is the cops are criminals with badges. They'll put a gun in your car. They'll charge you with a crime you never committed. So don't holler cop. And the final thing is, hey, if they arrest us, we run our business out of jail. So how do you defeat that? We're in the schools, so recruitment isn't taking place in gangs. We have a community model. So now the community is involved in Council for Unity and it's united. The third thing is that we're in law enforcement. So law enforcement, instead of being demonized, is now a partner. The final thing is we're in correctional facilities, transforming incarcerated men and women and providing an exit strategy where when they come out, they're employable. So Council for Unity actually interrupts the violence syndrome by having a model in the school, in the community, law enforcement, and in corrections. When you integrate those four things, it's almost impossible for a criminal element in the community to be successful. They can't recruit because we've got all the gangbangers with us. The community is standing together so they can't intimidate the community. The police are family, so they can't butt up against that. And we're working with inmates in our correctional institutions. It's a four-point process that has proven extremely successful. In fact, go on the website, click on the video, Behind Bars, A Chance for Change, and you will see those four components coming together in a very successful way.
My takeaway from what you said is you need money. It's about bucks. Let's be real. You need money to do this correct. So as CEO of White Folk Industries, I am donating 3% of the profits of any commercial solar projects we do to your organization because I've known you for 50 years and I know your track record. I know what you did in our neighborhood back in the 70s, and I know what you did at the Suffolk County Correctional Facility. My family, who is in the solar business, and I have decided to make that commitment to you. I hope others on LinkedIn will do the same. I have 24,000 first-degree connections. One of my first-degree connections is Colette Peters, who is director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I've seen her interview on 60 Minutes. What do you say to Colette Peters? What would you do if Council for Unity was hired by the Bureau of Prisons to eliminate violence?
I would do what we've been doing, and all of that's witnessed on the website. Our curriculum is extraordinary. A lot of it pivots around mythology, believe it or not. We have a Council for Unity myth around a dragon slayer motif. And the dragon in this syllabus is a metaphor for all the things that lead somebody to prison or all the things that block someone from getting ahead in life. The goal basically is to, one, identify your dragon, confront it, and slay it. Because to be a member of Council for Unity, you have to be a dragon slayer. Most incarcerated people sometimes are not aware that they have a dragon. And I've been a witness to that. We have a multifaceted curriculum that basically allows incarcerated people to remove the mask that has them bottled up where they are unable to communicate the tragedies and misfortunes of their lives. And when that mask comes off, they turn into human beings. And then they see Council for Unity as the medium through which this new discovered humanity occurs. We would do basically what we've been doing. We've been in Rikers Island, Brookwood Juvenile, and Suffolk County Correctional. In fact, also on the website is our gang conference. And two of the people on the panel, one was Brian Fischer, the former Commissioner of Corrections in New York State, and Sheriff Vincent DeMarco of Suffolk County Correctional. Both of them attest to the impact that Council for Unity has had on their populations. So it's not just statements coming from me, but from the highest levels of influence in corrections, giving testimony to the impact of Council for Unity. And it's right there on the website.
Do you have another example to share with our audience about your success?
There is one instance that probably would have left most people beyond skeptical. A founder of the Crips, whose street name was Stagger Lee, was incarcerated in Suffolk County Correctional at the time that we had the program. The sheriff him to meet me in the hopes that this major original gangster would come over, because if he joined Council for Unity, that would automatically shut down conflicts between his clique and the rest of the groups in the facility. So I was invited to come up on a Thursday night to meet this gentleman in an office right off the chapel. The head of security was extremely concerned about my safety and expressed that, and they had 5 correctional officers stationed at the door. So when I came in, I see this guy is about 6'2", with a really powerful, muscular body. I broke the ice by saying, my God, you must have been really scared to death for me to have 5 correctional officers protect you. He could have crushed me like a grape. But he laughed. And
that's funny.
He laughed, and we had a conversation for a good half an hour. And the head of security was pressing him to go back to his cell because he really wasn't too thrilled with Council for Unity. And he would say, Stig, you want to go back? No, I'm good, bro. I'm good. At the end of half an hour, he looks at me, and I told him about my journey, which was pretty dark as well. I said, I was in the life, and the guy got me out, and he died. He gave me a ton of advice and support that I did not listen to when he was alive. But when he died, that had an extraordinary impact on my life and put me on another course and in another major direction. So I told him, the reason I do this is that I have a debt. It's a debt I have to pay. This guy's not alive to see what I'm doing, but the only way I can honor it is to offer you what he offered me, which is a second chance. So he looked at me and he said, I've been waiting for something like this all my life. So I said, I can introduce you to that group and we can formalize your entry into council. So he asked the correctional people at the desk, can I go? They were thrilled because getting him in council would have had a major impact on the safety in the facility. So he came with me and we entered the law library, and some of the younger incarcerated men froze when they saw him. And one of them said, damn, you Stagger Lee. And this guy said, do me a favor. I just joined Council for Unity. Don't call me Stagger Lee. Call me by my name, Daryl. That was profound.
That's beautiful. Here's one point I want to make. Bob, you have attended some of my audios as I do a sermon every morning, Sunday through Friday, 6 days a week at 7 a.m. for 7 minutes. It's called 7 at 7, Sunrise in the Presence of God. For a while, you were on my broadcast every Wednesday, and all of a sudden, your profile disappeared. LinkedIn is saying you're not a real person. So I want everyone to see this is a real person. I'm hoping Ryan Roslansky sees this message and does something, because I want to have you on my live audios every Wednesday. I'm looking forward, hopefully, to a resolution of this. White Folk Industries has made a financial commitment to your organization.
Deeply grateful. Wish we could clone you and get another hundreds more like you, and we would be all over the country.
Am I correct to say I was, in the early 2000s, I was your largest individual contributor?
Absolutely. Not only were you the largest contributor personally, but through your networking, we were able to receive significant funding from government sources. And that was because of you.
Thank you. Is there anything you would like to add?
I have a LinkedIn account. I have people who are emailing me that they want to join my network. And every time I try to log on, they accept my password. I go through a verification process, and then I'm blocked.
Mr. Ryan Roslansky, hopefully you will see this video and get Bob fixed up. I'd like to have him on my LinkedIn audio live, Sunrise in the Presence of God. Bob, thank you very much.